Frankie Horn, who breaks through 2 tackles.
Oh, there's my son with the handoff and now the offload. Beautiful stuff, Rugby. After all the glory and emotion of the Six Nations, where did we end up? Back here in the gutter, sick and watching domestic rugby. Don't you dare look away. Or you might have missed Zebre's great fight against Cardiff in Parma on Friday night. Cardiff managed to overcome an early lead by Zebre and stayed in front despite a fight back from the host at the end of the match. Zebre now have a tough trip to the Highveld to face the Bulls and the Lions. I don't think they'll be breaking their duck this year. Cardiff also look to have a tough finish against the Dogs of Galway and the exciting Ospreys. Friday night also saw a top-of-the-table clash between the least drunk Leinster squad members and a tanned and rested Stormers side. The main takeaway for me was the way that each team played with the wind at their back. You could see the Irish boys were way more accustomed to playing in a gale, and their good kicking led to a good fight back. It ended all square, which I think both teams would be happy with. Munster and Benetton at home for the Stormers next, and Leinster come to the big smoke to face the Lions and then the Bulls. Or the other way around, I'm not sure. Based on current patterns, I need the Lions to come out with an embarrassing story in the week before every game. Every time we get some shocking story about the players being fed cat food or having to stay in backpackers hostels, they win. This week it was a massive comeback against Benetton, with my new son Frankie Horn setting up an incredible try. A very disappointed Benetton now head to Durban and then Cape Town to finish off their season, while the Lions will be hosting Zebre and Leinster. I want to go watch. The Ospreys and Dragons played a game. The hosts won fairly easily because they are loaded with internationals. The Ospreys could still win the Welsh Shield with Edinburgh and their rivals Cardiff in waiting. The Dragons are going to be playing for the love of the game in the last few weeks. Connacht is good now. Their latest victim, Edinburgh, could not contain tiny scrum-half Blade on his way to scoring a hat-trick at the dog track on Saturday night. Edinburgh has been quite disappointing after playing so well last year. We'll see if new coach Diamond can lift the Scots against Ulster and Ospreys in the last 2 weeks. Connacht should beat Cardiff but will have a fight against the Warriors. Hey, here's a new superstition that you might not know about. Step 1. A South African team announces a matchday squad loaded with Springboks. Step 2. Opposition fans say, "Rest in peace, my team." Step 3. South African team proceeds to lose in embarrassing fashion. Rinse and repeat. The Sharks stink of this curse, and the Scarlets were the beneficiaries. Too bad the Red guys are screwed with 2 tough away games remaining. The Durban boys are lucky that their last 2 games are at home against Munster and Benetton. No, home means nothing to them. And again. The hell, Munster, I thought you were the big dogs again. The hell, Glasgow, I thought Franco Smith was a middling coach. As is usual, I was wrong, and Glasgow are the big dogs now. And they can confirm that status now with 2 remaining home games against the Scarlets and Connacht. All the remaining Munster games are must-watch affairs. They are all bonkers, and we might be able to see Archie Snyman play in South Africa again. The Bulls travelled to Ulster and they did not put up a classic Bulls outside of Pretoria display. They made Ulster work for it, and Dwayne and his mates will know they had a tough game. The Bulls now have a 2-game home run against Zebre and Leinster. They should be able to make the top 8 with those matches. Ulster are right up there again, like last year, and their final 2 games are at home against the Dragons and Edinburgh. They are in a straight fight against the Stormers for a 2nd place on the log. That was the Irk, but there's other gutter leagues running as well. The Saracens are doing a Leinster to the English Premiership, but most of us Saffers are just happy to see Pollard playing like his salary is bankrupting his club. The top 14 is tighter with Toulouse and La Rochelle not far ahead at the top, but they've got like 50 games left in their season, so we'll check back in later. The Chiefs are also Leinstering Super Rugby right now. They are the only unbeaten side left in that competition, but everyone and their dog gets to go to the playoffs. The top of that table is about as high as my shin, and also the Crusaders still exist. And finally, the Women's Six Nations also kicked off this weekend, but I don't think it's being televised here in South Africa. What I saw from the highlights though is that the English rugby team still loves a good maul. Is there like a maximum number of takes on this? One final bit of news to finish off with. Stuart Hogg has announced that he will retire after the World Cup. The great Scottish fullback leaves the game with a boatload of titles and many highlights to watch on YouTube for years to come. And I'm also retiring. This week's rugby update. I will see you all next week after the Lions have torn to pieces Racing 92 at Ellis Park, even though Finn Russell was definitely there. He probably won't be. Bye.